Kurt Bardella, News Nation contributor and advisor to the Democratic National Committee, and Republican political strategist Mehek Cook. Welcome, both of you. Mehek, we'll actually start with you tonight. You just heard Senator Graham's comments there, saying that Trump, the provocateur, the showman, may not win this election, that he really needs to focus on policies. How does the campaign get Trump to stay on message?
Well, thank you for having me. And I think it's been very clear that President Trump has constantly gone out and spoken to the American people. You see it from rallies to right directly to the American people on Truth Social when he talks about the economy, when he talks about the illegal migrant surge. He is truly talking about his record versus Kamala Harris's. And I think the people want to hear the truth. And the truth is today, Kamala Harris put out an economic plan that was a wish list. It was a wish list that's going to push $1.7 trillion on the American people. This is called communism when you're redistributing wealth. I think it's so important for President Trump and anybody out there to continue to see what Kamala Harris is doing. She wants to give first-time homeowners $25,000. Where do you think that money's coming from? That's coming from me, you, and every single voter. It's in our pockets. Government doesn't make money. They make money by taxing us. Kamala Harris has this all wrong. If she truly cared about inflation today, she would worry about making sure that we are drilling for oil and gas and that we are continuing to promote capitalism. Her policy is socialism, and that's what President Trump has said over and over again.
Kurt, I want to turn it over to you. Is this called communism?
No, because let's clear up a couple of things. Number one, we just had the highest producing oil production in United States history this year. Number two, because of that, we are for the first time actually an oil exporter. Number three, 16 Nobel laureates have come forward, Nobel laureates in economics have come forward and said Donald Trump's economic plan would result in an inflation bomb that would break the deficit, cripple future generations, and saddle them with debt that there is no plan to pay for. Donald Trump wants to lower taxes for the rich, just like he did before, at the expense of everybody else. Only 0.01% of Americans would benefit from Donald Trump's tax plan. Kamala Harris wants to go out there and actually make sure that the rich are paying their fair share so that everybody else can get a fair shake at the American dream. That's the message, and that's a message that's going to win. That's not communism. That's just making sure that everyone has a chance to do what we promise we will do in this country.
And Kurt, to be fair, some economists are also not keen on this Harris plan coming out, especially the anti-price gouging aspect of it. I want to pull this up. One former Obama official saying, quote, "This is not sensible policy." And I think the biggest hope is that it ends up being a lot of rhetoric and no reality. And this is as a new poll is showing, beyond the surge we're seeing, she is still far behind Trump when it comes to, voter trust in this issue specifically. So with the DNC coming up, do you think we will hear tweaked language from Harris on this issue in particular?
I think she'll continue making the case, which is very simple. It's interesting that Republicans are okay with government telling you what you can or can't do with your body, what you can and can't do with your healthcare decisions. But somehow, when we want to actually control and manage the price of gas, the price of milk at the store, everyday American things, Republicans are up in arms saying, big government's coming from you. This has to be stopped. This is an overreach. I don't understand how it's okay to tell a woman what she can and can't do with her body, but you can't control the price of milk.
Heck, I want to bring you back in here. Trump this morning posting on social media an AI-generated image, a fake image of Harris in front of a communist flag, echoing him calling her comrade Kamala in his rally yesterday. Are these types of attacks still resonating outside of his base?
Well, I'd like to actually talk about the policy rather than specific attacks, because I do think this is communism. Let's go back to what Kurt just said. When you're dictating prices on small businesses, which are the lifeblood of our country, last time I checked, that is unacceptable. Just look at the profits that grocery stores are making today. It's 1.6% in 2023. That's not called price gouging. Kamala Harris doesn't know what price gouging is. That happens after an economic disaster when somebody's, for instance, is charging $20 for a case of, let's just say, water. That's price gouging. What Kamala Harris is doing is now pushing these small businesses in these grocery stands. They're barely making 1.6%. That is not acceptable. We have never had an issue with prices when it comes to groceries. If we really want to address the issue, it goes right back to the regulations that Biden and Harris have pushed. They have over-regulated, which has decreased stimulation in the economy. You need to allow the free market to continue to expand and thrive. The only way to do that is to increase oil and gas drilling. The last time I checked, Keystone Pipeline is still shut down. That's 11,000 jobs. The last time I checked, my grocery stores, generally oil, from gas to groceries, everything is 20% more.
And heck, we're almost out of time. We could talk about the economy for several more minutes, but I do want to turn the floor back over to Kurt with just the few seconds we have, because there's one more headline I wanted to hit from today. Trump's running mate J.D. Vance this morning speaking out about Harris, but using Jeffrey Epstein as a way to get his point across. Let's take a quick listen together.
The American people just don't buy the idea that Kamala Harris, who's been vice president for 3.5 years, is somehow going to tackle the inflation crisis in a way tomorrow that she hasn't for the past 1,300 days. Giving Kamala Harris control over inflation policy, Shannon, it's like giving Jeffrey Epstein control over human trafficking policy. The American people are much smarter than that.
Kurt, in just about 20 seconds, given the public scrutiny over Trump's supposed relationship with Epstein, despite no evidence of any involvement in his crimes, does this help with that?
There's only one candidate at the top of the ticket who has a picture with Jeffrey Epstein, and it sure as heck ain't the Vice President, Kamala Harris. So J.D. Vance may want to double check his talking points next time, because he's going out there every day parading around and showing off why his approval ratings are in the toilet versus Tim Walz.
Heck, we need to wrap, but I want to give you final word on this.
Look, I think we know what President Trump's record was. We had peace and prosperity. And when you look at Kamala Harris and Walz, you're going to continue to see communism. Girls aren't going to play in girls' sports. We're going to continue to pay more at the gas pump. And you really have to look at this rhetoric. Even Democrats are coming out strongly against Kamala Harris and Walz. And that's where the mic just drops. You have to look at the record. Stop listening to the rhetoric on the Democrat side. Don't even listen to Republicans. Do your research and you'll know your bank account speaks louder and more clear than any political strategist. It was stronger under President Trump.
Mahek Cook, Kurt
Meanwhile, Donald
Bardella
Trump will be out there calling women stupid, and J.D. Vance will be calling women cat ladies. So good luck with that policy debate.
Appreciate both of your perspective and time tonight. Thank you.